What's good, man? It's your boy DT3, man, and I'm back at you with another video, man. New media, notification, gang. God Squad. It's what it is, man. Look, boxing has become the WWE. These dudes do not want to fight each other. They find every reason to not fight each other. Or to fight who they want to fight. When they want to fight them. These dudes want to get super fight attention, but not compete in super fights. Meaning, they want to fight on pay-per-view, but they don't want to fight the fights that are pay-per-view worthy. Which is an insult to the hardcore fans, and it's also a discredit to the people that's willing to work hard and are paying their hard-earned money to watch these dudes. Because at the end of the day, all that money and all that glitz and glam, bro, that's money we pay. We pay for those tickets. The money they get from ticket sales, we pay for those tickets. All that. So, I feel like the hardcore boxing fan, even the casual, has been given a disservice. I feel like all this having to promote the fight and all that extra shit, and this fighter don't sell, or this fighter don't got enough followers on Instagram or Twitter, and all that type of stuff. I feel like all that is a bunch of bullshit. If you look at the UFC, hell, if you look at Bellator, but I'm going to just stick with the UFC. If you look at the UFC, which has not been in the world nowhere near as long as boxing, but at the same time, it's more popular than boxing nowadays. People will see in any city, in any country, it's a UFC event. Mind you, they might not know who's on the event, who's fighting or whatever. It might be one marquee guy on that event. But the fact that it's a UFC event, motherfuckers go. Because they know, or they have an expectation of, it's going to be some good fights. Or it's going to be, the whole event is going to be great. It's going to be a good night of fights because it's the UFC. Not because it's John Jones. Not because it's Khabib. Not because it's Tony Ferguson. Not because it's Conor McGregor. Just because it's the UFC. They in town and it's a fight. And people want to see a fight. Boxing don't have that luxury anymore. Back in the day when boxing was on HBO, it was every other Thursday, it was a fight on HBO. It didn't matter who was fighting on HBO. But everybody knew, hey, it's fights on HBO every other Saturday or every Saturday. When the fights was on, when ESPN was doing Friday night fights every fucking Friday or every other Friday, didn't nobody care who was really fighting. They just knew it was boxing every other Friday, Friday night fights on ESPN. Who fighting? Let's watch. Didn't matter who was fighting. All the people knew was it's boxing, it's a fight, they want to see it. That's what people knew. That's what people went off of. So all this shit, oh, you got to sell the fight, you got to do this, and this fighter don't this, that, oh, that's bullshit. Even this shit with Sean Porter now. Before, Sean Porter wasn't even tripping on fighting Terrence Crawford, wasn't talking about Terrence Crawford. That was the first thing from his mind. They was friends and all that. But as soon as he lose to Errol Spence, and as soon as he try to lose his weight in the limelight in boxing, and he wants to stay relevant in the sport of boxing, what he start doing? He start talking about Terrence Crawford and how he want to fight Terrence Crawford. But I promise you, if Terrence Crawford were to send that man a contract to fight, he not going to take it. Because everybody's saying how Terrence Crawford needs to come over here to PBC. He needs to fight me on PBC. Blah, 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 blah. But any and everybody that know anything about Terrence Crawford's situation, they know that Terrence Crawford is contractedly obligated to ESPN. So by contract and legal obligation, he can't fight on no other network. He can't fight on DAZN. He can't go get that DAZN money. He can't do it. Unless Bob Arum say it's cool, or Eddie Hearn let whatever fighter that he got come over to ESPN and fight. Because Terrence Crawford is contracted to fight on ESPN through Top Rank. And if you're not finna come to fight Terrence Crawford on ESPN through Top Rank, Terrence Crawford ain't fighting you. So when you hear people say Terrence Crawford is ducking me, he ain't trying to fight me, he need to come over here and fight me on Fox, he ducking, bro, that's smoke and mirrors. They throwing bullshit over your head because they automatically believe you don't know shit. And they only can pull that type of shit on people who don't know shit. As I said before, these boxers want to fight pay-per-view. They want to fight on pay-per-view to get super fight money, but don't want to fight in a super fight or fight a super fight opponent. They have turned Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman, these new age of boxers, period, in a whole, have turned boxing into the new regime of the WWE. Because at the end of the day, if MMA can sell itself, if the UFC in its short lifespan can sell itself just off of UFC alone, I'm sure boxing can do the same. It has a longer history, has a superior resume. I'm sure to believe that boxing has more Hall of Fame fighters than MMA. Makes a lot more sense to me. So the fact that boxing has to do all this extra shit and go above and beyond to promote itself when you have this one entity of combat sports that don't have to do half as much work. All they got to do is say UFC 250 Brazil, and it sells out. It don't matter if not one. And the thing is, it don't even have to be a popular Brazilian. It could just be two Brazilians fighting on that card, and it sells out. Two no-name Brazilian guys. Don't nobody know about these dudes. But the event still sells out. What does that tell you? If Deontay Wilder is the man that he say he is and all that, and his fan base is as strong as they are, every Wilder fight should sell out. The Fury fight, it should have been 50-50. Half Wilder, half Fury. It should not have been pro-Fury. If Wilder, all you fanboys, all you fans of him, y'all should be at his fights. There's no way that Fury should have more fans in America than the American champion. But that's another story for another day. But that's what I'm saying. We don't get behind our own on a real way, and we don't get behind the sport of boxing the way we're supposed to as Americans. You know the people that get behind boxing? The people that fucking invented it. The Brits, the people over in the UK. They are behind boxing. See, that's the difference between us and them with this boxing shit. That's they shit. You go over to the UK, that's all they fuck with. Boxing, real football, aka soccer, rugby. Boxing is first. Boxing and football, aka soccer. I would say boxing from what I've seen, but boxing and football, that's they shit over there in the UK. That is they shit. Okay? Over here in America, we have American football, basketball, baseball, hockey. We have all tennis. We have all these other sports that come before we even look at boxing. When over there in the UK, boxing is first. So I have a more of an understanding and a respect for the UK fans that come all the way over here to watch they fighter fight, because they actually, as a people, not fans, as a people, as a country, love the sport of boxing. We Americans as a people, as a country, we don't love the sport of boxing. We love more so the fighters that are in the sport. So our love for the sport is only as good and only will go as far as the love of the fighter that is in the sport. So what does that say about the Americans? And we're ignorantly biased towards these fighters as well. And some of the UK people are ignorantly biased towards some of their fighters, to be fair. But more so, it's a lot more biased behavior over on the American side than on the UK side, in my experience and in my opinion. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I am never been too far from reproach or criticism. If you like the video, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time I hit y'all with some hot shit. Follow me on Instagram at DT_boom. And I'm still protesting to get me out of Twitter jail, but still, man, follow me on Twitter at DBoyWSO, man. I'm trying to get out, man. I'm trying to get out, man. Free DT3, man. It's your boy, DT3, New Media, Notification Gang. God Squad. That's what it is, man. One.